Well, thank you for joining us on this very significant day in world politics. That's the cap, that's the tie. Survival of democracy, the preservation of values, the willingness to step into the ring against minorities. At the close of counting, it's Biden 238, Trump 213, chasing 270. Trump will win comfortably. We'll cover all of that tonight. My view has not changed in all of this, but it is extraordinary. I thought we'd just take a bit of a tack here tonight, because I just was looking at all that today and I thought, isn't it extraordinary that someone like Joe Biden is even a candidate for the presidency? Apart from the fact this is his fourth tilt at the job, Miranda Devine has reported repetitively on Biden's cognitive collapse. There are times when he doesn't seem to know where he is. You saw the clip last night of Obama introducing him to Michigan. My friend, the next president of the United States of America, Joe Biden. Moments tick by, no sign of the candidate. So less confidently, Obama says, Joe Biden, a third time, Joe, and then he emerges doing a pantomime slow jog to the stage. And then, of course, he wants to mandate the wearing of masks. He couldn't find his, fumbled around, and it was in his left trouser pocket. And then he held it up. So much for a sterile mask. You've heard me talk about the stupidity of wearing masks which are germ-ridden. We're talking here about a prospective president. Biden went to the University of Delaware. That in itself is not blue ribbon stuff. He graduated from law school in 1968, 76th in a class of 85. In his first semesters, his grades were C's and D's. But what is disturbing is that a law school faculty report dated December 1, 1965, concluded that Mr Biden had, quote, used 5 pages from a published law review article without quotation or attribution. In a letter defending himself, dated November 30, 1965, Mr Biden pleaded with the faculty not to dismiss him from law school. I repeat, this is Joe Biden's fourth crack at the presidency. In 1988, he was accused of what would be called lifting speeches that he had given from people like, and taken extracts from people like Hubert Humphrey, Robert Kennedy, and the English Labor leader Neil Kinnock. In the last weeks, of course, we found social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook, censoring a New York Post article that implicated Joe Biden in his son's Ukraine business, when Joe Biden's repeatedly denied any such involvement. The story focused, as you know, on an email from 2015 in which an advisor to the board of the Ukraine energy company Burisma, on which Hunter Biden sat, thanked Hunter Biden for inviting this advisor to Washington to meet his father, Vice President Joe Biden. Reports say after the meeting with the Burisma advisor, Joe Biden strong-armed the Ukrainian government into firing its top prosecutor, one Viktor Shokin, who was investigating this energy outfit Burisma for corruption. This is the story Twitter and Facebook censored. Hunter Biden had joined the Burisma board on a salary of up to $50,000 a month, no energy qualifications. 90 minutes before the last debate, Hunter Biden's ex-business associate, this Tony Bobulinski, held a press conference accusing Joe Biden of lying about his involvement in his son's overseas business dealings. Imagine if this were Trump. No media outlet except Fox News covered the Bobulinski allegations of crime and international connections. In other words, a total censorship to protect Biden. If the Ukrainian top prosecutor, who was investigating the energy company for which Joe Biden's son was being paid $50,000 a month when he can't speak Ukrainian, knows nothing about oil, and was thrown out of the army with a drug problem, well, the Ukrainian government then fired the prosecutor, one Viktor Shokin, the allegation being Joe Biden strong-armed the Ukrainian government. Twitter and Facebook censored the story. Then there is the question of Hunter Biden's laptop, shown to have thousands of emails and documents and other evidence that Biden's family had been monetising his name in a cash for influence scheme when he was vice president. I might add, the emails revealed more than that. There was behaviour that was worthy of criminal investigation. The Bidens did not deny the existence of the emails. But this story, too, was not run by media outlets or social media. This is the sort of media dictatorship that not even Orwell or Aldous Huxley could dream up. Where, may we ask, are the FBI? But then there's the issue of policy. A carbon-free electricity system by 2035? Impossible. The end of cheap energy. Net zero emissions from the total economy by 2050. Immediately rejoin the Paris Accord. Thank God this bloke's not going to be the president. He wants a $2 trillion investment in green energy. And this affects us because he has said, and I'll quote his words, he will, quote, get every major country to ramp up the ambition of their climate targets. And he will, quote, fully integrate climate change into foreign, national security and trade strategies. The poor taxpayer. US $500 billion every year to drive towards 100% zero-emission vehicles. And as for business, quote, public companies to disclose climate risks and the greenhouse gas emissions in their operations and supply chains, unquote. The bloke, I'm sorry, is a lunatic and the prisoner of the left. He wants a nationwide mask mandate, which would require face coverings to be worn on all federal property, all the time. He wants to increase taxes on, quote, high earners, but doesn't define who they are. And as for China, he said he'll do away with unilateral tariffs on China and instead he'd hold them accountable with an international coalition that China, quote, can't afford to ignore. This bloke knows nothing about foreign policy. Remember, Obama and Biden said, you'll never get a deal in the Middle East between Israel and the Arab states without getting Palestine on side? Donald Trump's done the deal, and there are Arab countries falling over themselves to join. And remember, whatever people might think of Donald Trump, this election is about us as well. Oil from the Middle East, instability over China in this region. Do you think if Biden were President, Kim Jong-un or President Xi or Putin or the Ayatollah would be worrying what might happen to them today?